All right, chapter 4, how energy regulates DNA and the cells of our bodies. What is the essence of that chapter?
Actually, before we talk about that, I want to just mention one more thing about chapter 3 and one more important concept that has an effect on a larger scale, and that is new research in a field called emotional contagion. And the model here is that our emotions are as contagious, or can be as contagious as flu or contagious diseases. And when we feel an emotion, it doesn't stay contained within our mind and our body. It spreads to other people. In the famous Framingham Heart Study, which has been going on now for 50 years, the researchers find that happy people actually produce emotional contagion and happiness around them. If you have a friend who gets happier, you're likely to get happier and make people around you happier as well. So happiness is contagious 3 or 4 levels out. So is sadness and anger and negative emotions as well. In one famous experiment on Facebook, the researchers manipulated the feeds of Facebook users, and they were able to produce emotional contagion in just a couple of weeks in 700,000 people, almost 750 million people in Facebook were unwitting victims of emotional contagion in this experiment. So we're affecting the world around us radically by our own moods. When we heal ourselves, we're healing influence in the world around us. That's the power of what we have, what we can do with our own inner state.
Remarkable. That's incredible. And what's interesting is that we intuitively know this, right? When you're hanging out with people and they're happy and cheerful, you get happier and more cheerful. And when you hear someone complaining and whining, you sort of see yourself slipping into complaining and whining as well. And so there was another study which said that you eventually become the same emotional state as the 5 of your closest friends. So choose wisely.
Yeah, so choose your media wisely. Choose your internet websites you visit wisely. Choose everything, movies, music, websites.
Movies,
Yeah.
Don't watch horror movies. I tell my teenagers all the time, stop putting that stuff in your subconscious. So how does energy regulate DNA? That's very powerful if we can influence our DNA.
Yeah, and there is a key paper which I talk about in that chapter, and it was a recent review of the scientific literature going back 50 years, and they found 175 studies showing that energy affects cells. Certain frequencies trigger certain effects in cells. And in the book, what I focused on was the frequencies generated by the human brain. So there are a lot of frequencies that affect cells, but the ones I really honed in on in Mind to Matter were the frequencies that you can generate yourself endogenously with your brain and what they do to cells. And this research, Rena, is absolutely mind-blowing. The research shows that some of the frequencies that your own brain generates, especially during meditation, are able to produce all kinds of changes in your cells. They can stimulate the formation of new nerve cells and new synapses, especially in the memory and learning centers of the brain. They can reduce the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. They can inhibit the growth of cancer cells. They can improve memory. They can synchronize the firing of neurons in different parts of the body. They can speed the healing of wounds. They can regenerate bone tissue. They can enhance the activity of your immune system's white blood cells. They can regulate free radicals in your body. All of this done purely by the frequencies that you generate when you meditate. And I also have diagrams in the book showing EEGs of people who meditate. And what happens is that these healing frequencies, they're the 2 slowest frequencies in the EEG spectrum. They're called delta and theta. Delta is very slow wave, 0 to 4 cycles per second, and then theta is 4 to 8 cycles per second. You see that they have a little bit of theta and delta when they start meditating, and they have huge theta and delta after, again, as little as 90 seconds. So in those meditative states, you're literally stimulating the production of stem cells. You're regenerating the telomeres, the anti-aging molecules in your cells. All of this is going on when you meditate. It's just amazing how energy, especially the energy of your brain, is producing all these changes in the cells of your body. Now, I also go and look at how it produces changes outside of your body. And here is where it's so cool. So water, this stuff over here, when a healer takes water and activates it, blesses it, energizes it, it literally changes the molecular structure of the water. I'm just looking right here to see if I have a little molecular model of a water molecule. I don't have one close by, but what happens is the angle of the bond between the big oxygen atom and the two hydrogens in H2O, that bonding angle, when water is blessed, that bonding angle changes. And if you use that blessed water to water seeds, more of those seeds germinate in the blessed water than in the unblessed water, and the plants grow bigger and taller and have more chlorophyll in them than those watered with water that's not blessed. So again, the act of intention, the act of consciousness, the blessing is received by water. It literally changes the molecular structure of water, and then that has biological effects around us as well. So as we change our consciousness, it is affecting things and matter inside our bodies and also outside of our bodies.
And what we forget is that we are mostly water too. So if intention can change and transform a water molecule that's outside in a glass, imagine what it can do inside, because we are predominantly water.
Right.
So the power of blessing and that power of intention, of positive intention, I think is the most powerful field or tool or medicine that we know of, that we don't utilize enough of.
That's right. Yeah. And so like it's made me change my habits. Now I literally bless my food before I eat it. I bless my vitamins before I take them in the morning. And I just am aware of the power of intention to do that. And so it makes you aware that we're having this effect all around us, and we may as well use that intentionally for our good.
Absolutely. And even words like Louise Hay used to say, I love you. That just that much, just saying I love you, I think transforms, again, the molecules, the energy around, and makes it more healing and more beautiful.
It does.